morning, besties. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Anessa, and I'm so excited that you're here today. Today we are talking about this book, one of my favorite books in the whole world now, How We Heal by Alex Elle. Yes, I love Alex Elle. The first time I heard about this book was actually through the Balanced Black Girl podcast, and this is what it looks like. I love that podcast. I've been listening to it for, I want to say 2 to 3 years now. It's so good. It's literally changed my life. I feel like it's the bigger sister that I never had because I am the first child out of 4 kids and I don't have a big sister. I forgot a bunch of big sisters in real life, but for like a podcast, that's one of my big sisters. Anyways, let's get into this book. I brought my iPad because y'all know I be taking notes when I read things, and they're in my notes app, so let's get to it. Before we start to talk about some of the really important things in the How We Heal book, let me just tell you, if you're thinking about buying How We Heal by Alex Elle, please do it. Please buy the book, because when I say it gives you everything that you need to heal, all the tools that you need, whenever you feel like you're at square one again, because remember, healing isn't linear. Whenever you feel like you're at square one, this book will give you all the tools that you need. This book is so healing. I have been on my healing journey for a little bit, and we never stop healing. That's something that I learned in this book. We are on a constant healing journey, constant, which is beautiful, because as humans, we like to move towards something. We love to be moving constantly. And so it's great that we're always on a healing journey. But this book taught me that I have everything I need. And all these tools, they will guide you to show up as your highest self and to heal. So if you're thinking about getting it, this is amazing. You will always have these tools for life. It's not a one hit. It's a forever kind of book. Okay, let's talk about it. She dives into a lot. So she shares her story, and then you'll hear about some other people's stories, the healing tools that they use. And then she also gives like meditations, journaling prompts. I used to be one of those people who would go through journaling prompts in books and not do them, but this whole book, I did all the meditations, I did all the affirmations, I did all the journaling prompts. So use this book to its best ability. Every single thing it tells you to do it, because it's pretty simple. And with me, with books like this, I don't usually read them in one go. I take my time and I'll read like a chapter a night. And that's what I did with this one. I read like a chapter a night so that I could focus on the journal prompt or the meditation. So I was just doing one journal prompt or one meditation a day. I wasn't overloading myself with a bunch of things. Okay, what y'all all came for is what I learned from this book. Alex says, looking back, that was one of my first adult lessons on self-trust, to not know what I was doing and try it anyways. This is a big thing. This is a humongous thing, because I feel as though in my adult body, I feel like I need to know how to do things. And I feel if I don't know how to do things, I need to make up for it, or I need to say something about not knowing how to do it. When we're all in this life together, everybody that's doing something they've had a first time doing it. And so it's a beautiful thing to feel comfortable in saying, I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to try anyways, instead of hiding away from things that you're new to, because that's the only way we grow. We only grow in our discomforts. The second one is a really big one, because I feel like a lot of people struggle with this when they are learning to bridge the gap between their child self and their older self, and they start to blame other people around them. They start to blame external circumstances when they find out that a lot of the reasons why they are now is because of what happened in childhood. So some of them might begin to blame their guardians and their caregivers before they realize that they are now in charge of their reality and they need to make the difference to change things. But anyways, this is a really big one. Our parents do the best they can with what they have, and sometimes their best isn't supportive of our healing in a way that we want or need, which is a really big thing, because I love my parents, and I'm sure most of us love our parents. That's all I'm gonna say. Sometimes you need to take the time away to do what you need to do for yourself, because you know what's best. I know as kids, our parents are always say, I know what's best, I'm your parent, I know what's best, which is true when you're a child. But as you grow into your own person and you know yourself better than anyone else because you're spending the most time with you, it's important for you to get to know yourself through journaling, meditation, reflection. And then you'll know to follow your intuition, and you'll know what to do, how to do what's best for you. Okay, the next one. Nurturing ourselves and our relationships takes dedication, clear communication, and an open heart. This is beautiful. Let me tell y'all. So last week I went for the Jay Shetty book tour for his book. I forgot the name of the book, but it's a book about love. I think it's like the 8 Rules of Love. But the big theme of the tour was love rules. And it was such a phenomenal thing. He's told us not to spoil it, so I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say what he probably already says in his book, or he said in his podcast a million times. And he talks about spending a lot of time with yourself and when people think of being alone, he was saying that when we think of being alone, there are two connotations, but the one that people use the most is the word lonely. When you're alone, you can decide to be alone, lonely, which is the negative connotation, or you can decide to be in solitude, which is a positive connotation. You are getting to know yourself. There's this other oh my goodness, I'm gonna start blushing. But anyways, there's this other creator called Charles the Trainer. Absolutely love that man. Love that man. And he was speaking about being alone. And he talks about, like, he says when somebody's like, you're alone, he's like, I'm not by myself, I'm with myself. And I'm adopting that mindset too. When I'm on my own, I'm with myself. I'm with myself, with my emotions, with my feelings, with everything that's going through me. And back to what Jay said. Jay said, love builds on solitude. So to bring somebody else into your space, you've got to really truly know you, because when you really truly get to know you, you get to know what you love, you get to know what you don't like, and you're able to know yourself fully. You're able to love yourself fully and understand yourself. And we're continually learning how to understand ourselves and to grow as a person. But you can't give the permission to somebody else to do that when you haven't done that yourself. You got to do that work, baby. Do it. I know it sounds mind-boggling, but just a couple hours a day spending that time by yourself. And I don't mean by yourself with like the music on, you're playing your podcast, you're jamming up, you're on Spotify, you know, we're scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through YouTube. No, this is like alone. I don't even want to say alone. This is in solitude. This is in solitude. I am also working on changing my mindset and my words. So this is in solitude. And music off, phone away, do not disturb. No scrolling on TikTok, no scrolling on social media. You and your journal, you and meditating, you and meditative practice, really with your thoughts, because a lot of us are scared to be with our thoughts. That's why we're constantly having stimuli. Check this out. I was talking with my friend a couple weeks ago, and he said, I don't remember the last time I was without stimuli. And I asked him, tell me about your routine. Everything has stimuli. Like, there's always music playing or a podcast playing or something in the background. He was like, even when I go to sleep, I'm listening to music. There's always something. I can't remember the last time there was nothing. And he was like, I don't know if I could do nothing. I think I'd go crazy with no stimuli, because I'm not used to that. Because he wasn't used to that. So right now, we're constantly being bombarded by stimuli, and we're not actually with ourselves or with our thoughts anymore. And that actually scares some of us, to be with our thoughts, to feel those feelings that we've been trying to squash down. We've really been trying to squash those feelings down sometimes, compartmentalize, put them in a pocket, turn them over, put them on the side. But you got to feel to heal. And when I say there's no bypassing emotions, we can talk about this 100 times a year. There's no bypassing your emotions. You're going to have to go through them, work through them, talk through them, write through them, reflect, understand, get some sort of processing going for these emotions, for you to work through them. Because it'll always be there. It'll show up in different forms, but it'll never leave you alone. It's never truly done until you work through them. So that's a big thing. Oh wait, I didn't see. I digress a lot, so I never finished my point with the first one. But what I was saying is, this weekend I hadn't spent a lot of time with myself in the past couple of weeks. Wherever I go, I usually ask my friends, "Hey, do you want to come?" And it's not because I can't go on my own. I love going places on myself. I love a good solo date. I love meeting people and just like going to places and having the ability to spend X amount of time just looking at this thing without worrying if my friend needs to hurry up and go somewhere or what's going on. And so I've been with my friends the past couple of weeks, different friends. And this weekend, I decided to have a little solo weekend. I didn't ask anybody to do something with me. I was just like, you know what? Let me spend it to myself. And I had the most magical weekend. It was absolutely beautiful. I got to speak to a lot of people who I might not have had enough time to speak to if I was with somebody else. And I got a lot of insights. So that was really nice for me. And why I was talking about the by myself and with myself is I was going to the farmer's market, and it's not too far from where I am. So sometimes I'll walk, sometimes I'll take the metro. And all I could think about was going to the farmer's market was I'm kind of scared to be, but I don't want to say by myself, but with myself for just a couple minutes going to the metro, because that's such a long time to be with myself only. And I didn't want to put my headphones in because something had said I just need to pay attention to what's going on around me, and not in a scary way, but just take in the beauty of this beautiful Saturday morning. So I ended up metroing to the farmer's market, and then my friend called me on my way back, and it was so beautiful outside. I was like, you know what, should I just met you or just talk to you and walk? So I talked to her on the phone and we walked, and she didn't stay on the phone like the whole full way, which I didn't need her to. I love her so much. But I needed to spend some time with myself. So once we're done talking, I walked the rest of my way, and I really thought about that, just the concept of being with myself and how important it is to know yourself and love yourself. Okay, the next one is a really big one. Everything isn't all bad, even when things challenge us or trigger us to grow and expand in new and sometimes uncomfortable ways. Everything isn't all bad. A lot of things challenge us. So the way I know that I have a limiting belief, or the way I know that something somebody says makes me feel some sort of way or triggered, or I have an emotional reaction to something, is usually because I'm triggered by it. I know that's some work that I need to do, and I know that me being triggered by something is telling me that there's something going on, there's something deeper than what that person said or did. And so I usually use that as a tool to heal from whatever it is that happened. And I'll go back into my past and be like, why is this triggering me so much, to get to the roots of things and then work through that. There is nothing wrong with having to start from scratch time and time again. This is like, if there's anything that you take away from this video, I want this to be it, because we feel as though healing has to be linear, or we never go to the beginning again. There will be different points in time that you'll experience different things. And like I said, we really never know if we need to heal something until we experience triggers. And you may not experience triggers every single day. It may be like once in 3 months, and then a trigger comes and you're like, didn't I deal with this? And there may be more in a different section of that particular thing that you need to deal with. So really understanding that just because you got triggered again doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you didn't do the work right. There's no right or wrong ways to do the work. And knowing that it's okay, it's normal, it's a regular thing to start from the beginning. And you have all these tools for a reason. It's not like you're starting from square one because you have these tools. You have a background, you have something to fall on when things go wrong. This one's a long one, but listen and listen well, because I really, really like this one. We are meant to walk in our truth and purpose, but no one teaches us to ask ourselves the hard questions. We're encouraged to seek the answers outside of ourselves. Go to therapy and the therapist will heal you. Go to God and your prayers will be answered. Do meditation and the answers will come. Go everywhere but inward to find your answers. External support is important and necessary, but it is one step in the direction of healing, not the end of the road. Only you can set yourself free. This is a word. This is a word. I do this too. We're always looking at ourselves. We're always looking at other people for the answers. Go to therapy. Okay, yeah. I feel like when we talk to God, we are going inwards. Meditation also goes inwards. But we're always looking at other people. You can look at our friends for validation, for answers. And those answers that you need, they're within you. You know them. Oh, and you know how I know them? I was talking to my friends. And they'll be like, Anessa, what should I do about this? Or what do you think? Girl, as you're talking to me, I can hear you say the answer. You know the answer. We are discussing and you are telling me what you need to do. So why are you asking me what you need to do? You're looking for my validation and you're looking for me to tell you what you need to do. But I know, and you know deep inside that you know already what you need to do. Stop looking for other people's validation and do it. It's a hard thing. And yes, like I love having these conversations with my friends. Like, yes, I love having these conversations so much. But they keep saying, I don't know what to do. You know what's funny? Because I didn't realize this either until I started looking more into psychology. I'm a big psychology girl. I just love psychology. Whenever somebody says, I don't know, or I'm not, like, a lot of the I don't know is that people say they know. They know exactly what the hell, because I do it too. I say I don't know. But deep down, I know. I know. I just don't want to admit it to myself, because then it's real. It's a real thing, and then I have to confront it. And as a non-confrontational baby girl, even though I'm working on it, I am working on it. I am a lot more confrontational than I was before, even though I'm not 1,000% confrontational. That's fine. It's okay. But you know the answer. You've already gone inwards. You know the answer. It's staring at you right in the face and you know it. You're just being scared about it. It's uncomfy. And you know what? Sometimes I need that validation too. Sometimes when some things get uncomfy, I'll ask my friends, what do you think I should do? Knowing I have the answer. And they know that I have the answer. And we'll both look at each other and they'll be like, yeah, you know what to do. Yeah. But it's nice having that validation externally. As humans, it's nice being validated. What can I say? This one's gold. Listen. Reclaiming my power as I began to heal and get to know myself meant no more shrinking and silencing my voice for the comforts of others. No more pretending that my anxiety wasn't eating me alive. No more making excuses about not taking my healing seriously. It also meant asking myself the questions that I expected others to have the answers to, which is kind of what I talked about before. The best teachers and gurus will tell you that you won't find what you're looking for if you don't get curious about what you want and need. Remembering that you are your own greatest teacher is invaluable. And this one kind of touches on the other one that I was talking about going inwards to get the answer that you need. But let's talk about the beginning, where they talk about reclaiming your own power, and reclaiming your power means you're stopping shrinking. I would not classify myself as a people pleaser, but I do find myself being very sensitive to I never want to hurt somebody. I never want to make somebody feel like I was insensitive towards them. I never want to be unempathetic. I always want to put myself in other people's shoes before I say things or do things. I'm very careful about triggering people. I'm very, very careful about that. Before I say things, I do a double take to be like, this is like more of a neutral statement that won't really trigger anything. Let me not make the statement. Even when it comes to jokes, I'm very, very, very careful, because I don't want to say I don't like being triggered, because triggers are good for me to realize where I need to heal and what I need to work on, but I don't like triggering other people. So I'm just very specific. And so as much as other people need to speak their truth, you deserve for your truth to be spoken in a way that's kind and loving. And so sometimes I would shrink myself. I'm working on that, being my true, authentic self. Sometimes it just feels easier to shrink. Sometimes it feels much easier to shrink and not really have to deal with the real deal. It seems easier to just go with the flow and not have to say too much or not have to add too much. But is that your true, authentic self? Are you feeling like yourself in that moment? Go ahead and speak your truth. It's scary, and all things are easier said than done. At the end of the day, all things are easier said than done, but how are you feeling? Do you want to live with that version of you? How do you feel about that in that moment? How do you feel after that moment? Do you want to put yourself out there as the true, authentic self and stop shrinking? It really just depends on how you want to show up in the world at the end of the day. All right, besties, I have 3 more that I really want to talk about. 3 very important ones, so listen up. Okay. Self-abandonment is not an act of love. It's a sign of weak boundaries, and it can lead to burnout and self-destruction. Okay. This is me. This is literally speaking me. This is what I did when I was a nurse. I self-abandoned, and it is a sign of weak boundaries, and I was burned out. That's what happened. Yeah. Boundaries. Baby, you gotta set boundaries. Oh my gosh. Boundaries can be scary, especially when you're setting them at first, especially if you're not sure how the other person's going to receive them. I saw this quote that said, boundaries is how I'm able to love both you and me at the same time. It's a beautiful thing, setting boundaries, because I get to love you without resenting you. When you don't set boundaries, you begin to resent the other person, and they may not know it. They may not know that they cross your boundary without knowing it. My least favorite thing in the world is people setting boundaries and not stating them. If you're going to set a boundary with me, then you probably want to protect our relationship. And if you don't tell me about these boundaries that you're setting and I cross them, then you're going to begin to resent me. But I'm not going to know that you put these boundaries in place unless you communicate them. So communication is such a strong thing. Also, self-abandonment. Oh my gosh, it's the worst thing in the world. Please don't abandon yourself for others. Because you cannot, we've heard this 1,000 times, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot, it's not possible. You can do that for a couple days, a couple months, a couple weeks, but you will realize that is not sustainable, and you have to fill yourself up before you pour into anything else. With this new theme of my life, I am really big on pouring into myself, especially in the mornings. My mornings are my time that I can pour to myself up to the full, and I can give to others. It's really important for me to pour myself up, to fill myself up, and to get the rest that I need. If y'all know human design, I am a projector, and I need my rest because I do a lot of like guiding and helping others to see what they might not see. And so it's really important that I am in tune with my intuition, which requires me to go inwards a lot. So that's kind of where that comes from. The next one is becoming who we wish to become in this life requires acknowledging and releasing who we are used to be. We are called to recognize our patterns and put action behind changing them. I love this because this is what I talked about in the first episode of becoming my higher self, in the higher self releasing identity. Because to be who we want to be, and if that person's different from who we are, we can't get to what we want to get if we're doing the same things. You keep doing the same things, expecting the same result. Isn't that what they call crazy? I think that's the definition of insane, something like that. But if you want something to change in your life, you're going to have to start changing. If you want to see a different outcome, you're going to have to start changing your habits, because that's the only way you'll become who you want to be. You can't become who you want to be if you're stuck in the same patterns. Okay, this is the last one. Love, patience, and understanding should be at the center of our healing. We cannot hate ourselves into being better versions of ourselves. This is a really big one because sometimes we want to hate ourselves into becoming better people, but that's not possible, baby. You've got to love yourself. You've got to really be patient because this takes time. It's not a quick journey. It's a journey. Like it's a journey, and journeys take time. And you really got to be understanding through it all, and never shiz or feel some sort of way about your past self, because they are the reason you are who you are today. They've brought you so far and they've carried you so far and they've done so amazingly. For you to be where you are right now, it means that you had a past self that brought you to this self. And so it's an absolutely beautiful thing to be where you are and to really live in this moment. Okay, besties, I really hope that y'all liked this episode because I really like doing this for y'all. How We Heal, if you haven't read it, please go buy it. It is absolutely phenomenal. My biggest takeaway from this book is like life is a healing journey, and I'm okay with that. Another really big thing is if I ever start from scratch, or if I feel like I'm going back to square one, I will never ever be at square one because I've learned things. I have tools in my toolbox to get me to where I need to go. And I'm not alone. I have other people. I have myself. I have God. I have a support system. I'm not alone. And it's just a beautiful thing. I'm hoping you all have a support system that's really strong, or somebody that you can talk to if there's anything that you're going through. Therapy is a really big tool too. I absolutely love therapy. Therapy is absolutely amazing. I love therapy. Y'all are doing amazing. I'm always so freaking proud of you. For the fact that you're here means you want to change something or you want to do better. And I love you. You're doing so good. Life is a journey. We're not running anywhere. We're here to embrace the journey. I'm here with you too. DM me. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. TikTok, I do a lot of my challenges and I post a lot on TikTok. So go follow me on TikTok if you want to be part of this family. And YouTube, leave a comment. Let me know what resonates with you the most out of all the quotes that I talked about from this book. And if you're thinking about getting it, get it. Do it. It's so good. Okay. I made potatoes for breakfast and I'm going to scramble some eggs, and I'm excited to have a nice, cute little breakfast. Okay, I love you. I'll see you later. Hugs and kisses.